Over the past month, police have reported more than a dozen break-ins at various industrial businesses here in Corpus Christi. Just last night, a construction site off of Hearn and Calicote Roads had thousands of dollars worth of construction equipment stolen, along with a trailer. Our Madeline Dart tonight on what's being done to try to reverse this trend.
CCPD now has reason to believe that many of the industrial break-ins are related, and this is what they want you to know to prevent this from happening to your business. All of these burglaries sharing many things in common.
Fences are cut and access is gained into the yard. They're finding trucks and trailers.
Lieutenant Chris Hooper says the break-ins are happening in the Leopard and Calicote area.
Oil field equipment, machinist equipment, none of it's cheap.
He adds investigators believe 25 of these industrial burglaries in the past month were committed by the same group of people. Thus far, the department has made one arrest, and they hope it'll lead to more.
We think that the offenders are driving around in the industrial areas looking for targets during the daytime so that when the crime is committed later that night, it can be done quickly and efficiently.
The lieutenant says trucks are also being stolen because the keys are left inside or near the vehicle. He recommends storing the keys in a safe place in addition to a record of serial and vehicle identification numbers.
That serial number is so important because we can recover some property, and we do recover property.
He also urges business owners to install an audible alarm and register it with the city.
Most of the time, it's going to minimize the damage. And it's also going to minimize how much property gets stolen.
Madeline Dart, 3 News.